Okay, last time on Gran Turismo 4, we did the 4-wheel drive challenge, and basically with this car, I absolutely annihilated the field, even though I did have road tyres on this thing because, well, I kind of knew that was going to happen. But then again, it was either this or my more powerful Nissan Skyline, which in all honesty, I was not prepared to do. However, since we are now halfway through the beginner events, I figured now is probably a good time for me to buy myself a new car. And that's what I plan on doing today with I think this is episode 8 of this game. So we are going to search for a car under the MR license. And this is solely my choice. No one has encouraged me to do anything with this. This is all my choice. And we only have 2 cars here under the MR type, and it's basically just 2 Toyota MR2s. You know what? I'll consider using one of those another time, when we get to the Japanese events. Let's see what we can get from the late 90s. See what cars we have available here. Okay, got an MGF. I could use that car if I really wanted to. Also got Toyota, Honda, and what else is there? Somewhere further down. Let's see, MR2, Vauxhall Tigra. Have we got any more cars under the MR brand? I really want to buy that Mustang now. Now that I've seen it. You know what? Just for favoritism and the fact of saying that I really want to use this car at some point in the game before the end, I'm gonna buy this Ford Mustang SVT Cobra just for favoritist purposes. I know that's gonna put me down in terms of money, but I still have enough to get myself 1 or 2 cars, but I just figured I'd buy that because I don't think I'll get another chance to buy it. So, figured I'd just get that one out of the way, because why not? Let's actually go racing now, since I have wasted enough of your time trying to divert your attention to the whole buying process. because it is now time for the MR challenge, and where if we win a race we will get 2 grand. So the tracks we're going to include Beginner Course, Autumn Ring, New York, Fuji Speedway, and we end at El Capitan. Let's see how we go for our first race in the Toyota MR2 G Limited, because I figured this car would be a strong candidate for what we're going up against, including 2 Hondas, 1 Lotus, 1 ASL Garaya, and a second MR2. So let's turn off the driving aids whilst we're here, because I can do that. And let's actually go racing, and where hopefully, if it's possible, I will not wind up being woefully off the pace. Let's go. Right, okay. Time to head over to the tuning shop now and get some much needed upgrades on this thing, if I'm going to win. Also, something else that's actually quite fun about this is knowing that we can actually get tuning parts, at least with the Japanese manufacturers, from the tuning cars manufacturers as well, which I think is quite useful. But again, because I'm doing this for branding purposes, well, not exactly branding purposes, but, well, car branding purposes, I might as well get some upgrades fitted. And we cannot do any turbocharger upgrades. Okay, this must be the natural aspiration model. So, what I'm going to do first is put on Stage 1 engine tuning, because I noticed in that race I was definitely down on power. And I'll put on the racing chip as well, because I figure that's also going to be needed. I don't think I really need nitrous. Port polish, don't really need either of those. I'd say my car should be fine in that department. But I will put on a suspension upgrade, because I think that because this thing is twitchy, I do need a suspension upgrade of some sort to control it. And I think the last thing I'm going to do here is put on a weight reduction kit, just to see if that will do anything in terms of improving the car balance-wise. I think that's pretty much everything we need. We don't need anything from the drivetrain, but I think the only thing I really need to put on now is just, let's put on the racing brakes. Then hopefully that should be everything we need for this. Okay. Don't really need to improve the tyres, but I am convinced in saying this time I should have the power I need in order to compete with the Honda NSX up at the front. So, let's try again at Beginner Course. So we've got 2 Hondas, 2 Lotuses, and another Toyota MR2 among our competition. And before we get on with this, I figured I might as well show you this, just to show you that we have turned off the driving aids. But I'm pretty sure we should have everything we need now, and if we don't, then, well, I'll just have to put on more tuning and see how long it takes before I eventually win. But I'm convinced in saying this will be enough for me to mount a challenge. And it does, because if we win, we will get 69 points. It will technically be a race win with a nice score. And I'm convinced in saying that this time I have a much greater chance of winning compared to before, because I did put on some minor upgrades to see if this would improve the car, and I'm convinced in saying it has. And immediately the results are showing through, because in just a matter of corners, I've gone from last to third on the first lap. I'm convinced in saying I will be a match to the Honda that is leading this race. Although personally, I don't really like this shade of beige, but then again, that's just me. And I haven't found a way past the Honda yet, but I can definitely say the Lotus Esprit up front is at least keeping the Honda at bay. And now, on the third lap, I managed to pull off the pass for second place. And if possible, I can manage to make a pass for the lead as well. But my times are definitely improving, because in the previous race, I think my best lap was a 28.4. And my best lap so far in this race has been a 28.2. So I think that pretty much tells you how much of a difference these upgrades have really made. And I'm being blocked from the outside, but it doesn't matter because I slot through on the inside, and I am now 4/10 up on the Lotus Esprit that's behind me. And had to step on the brakes there, or else I would have succumbed to oversteer heading into the corner had I kept my foot in the gas. But that doesn't matter now, because I will win on my second attempt by half a second over the Lotus. So, pretty good race altogether. It was definitely a close one. Then we had the two Hondas, third and fourth, the Lotus Elise finishing fifth, and it was the other Toyota MR2 GTS that finished in sixth and last. Had to spend a bit of money to make sure this thing was stout, but I am pretty sure that what we have here is a machine that will get the job done for me. And in all honesty, I'm pretty content with that now. So one race down, 4 races to go, as we now head to Autumn Ring Reverse. I think this is the first time when we've actually raced on the full course. It's been, a few days since I last did this, so I am trying to keep certain things in mind. But in this race, we have a Lotus Esprit with a Vauxhall VX220 and an Opel Speedster, and at the back we have the two Hondas. But I am convinced in saying the upgrades I have, they've worked for me before. I'm also convinced in saying they will work for me again. But we'll wait and see how we go. It's only one race. Things could just as easily change in these other... Things could just as easily change in these other 4 races we have to do, as I had a snap of oversteer when I went through that one corner, and I cut the corner. Fortunately, however, it was not during a time trial lap, which means I have been successful. And it looks like the upgrades are working for me again, because I am already up into second position, and we're not even halfway through the lap yet. And just gonna bide my time with this. I know I'm clearly the faster car here. I go round him from the outside, and I have now taken the lead. I'm also pretty sure this is going to be where my car starts to pull away. But nonetheless, here I am. In an upgraded and stronger handling Toyota MR2. I am now leading at Autumn Ring. And it looks like my lead is going to hold on, because I am 3 seconds clear of the Opel in front of me. So I think it's fair to say these upgrades are very much helping me at the moment. And it is fair to say that I don't have anywhere near as much concerns as what I had before winning the first race. So I think it's fair to say this is going to be an easy win, because of just how much I'm already pulling away. So I think it's fair to say with the upgrades I fitted, I definitely made a strong choice by choosing this thing. I just needed to improve the car a little bit more, just so I could show how good of a choice this car really is. This also won't be the last time I buy a used car in this game. As a matter of fact, I think it'll probably be far from the last. But no matter, because I have clearly brought down this bull by the horns. And a 7-second margin of victory in the end over the Honda NSX Type R. Then we had the Vauxhall in 3rd, the Lotus came home in 4th, then it was the other Honda NSX that came home 5th, and in last it was the Opel Speedster. Alrighty, moving on. I think the next race we're doing is at New York, if I'm not mistaken, even though we're technically doing New York reverse. But I'm convinced in saying that'll probably be an easy win as well, because I do have a fast car. It just depends on knowing if we're able to put together the sort of run I expect us to put together. So this time we've got one Honda, the V6 Renault Clio, along with 2 Lotuses and 1 Vauxhall as our starting order. Okay, now I'm pissed. I am actually pretty pissed off now. Yeah, I think it's fair to say this Honda that's in front of me, he has no discipline for me whatsoever. And although he was clearly faster than me on that final stretch, he just straight up wrecked me right at the finish. When I honestly thought for sure I was going to be good, he basically bumped me right at the finish. And in the end, I wound up fucking losing to someone who clearly wrecked me right at the finish. I'm actually pretty pissed off now because of that. What should have been an easy win wound up being yet another loss. So I think it's fair to say this Honda that's behind me, I am not going to beat him Unless I really rub fenders with him. I think that's pretty much established now. Because of just how brazenly he spun me out on the final stretch, where I should have had the win, but yet he denied me right at the last second. And my car is still oversteery as fuck. But at least I can say the Honda is not behind me yet. And if he does decide to pull off any daring moves on me, I will make sure to slam that door shut on him. Because of what he did to me last time. It was honestly just maddening enough for it to be repugnant. Because of just how the finish happened. And knowing that it was clear that what he did was very much with ill intent. But this time, if he comes close to me again, I will make sure to slam that door on him before he even fucking tries to spin me out again. I will make sure he pays the price for it. Unless he gets held up this time. Then in which case I think that's a reasonable response. Well, the Clio is still in second. For now at least. And, oh, nope. Not this time. The Honda is still behind. Okay. Although I am still getting a lot of oversteer from this car. And the Honda has not found a way past the Lotus. You know what? If that same Honda shows up to the next race at Fuji, I will make sure to show my displeasure. Because of what he did to me at the end of that previous race. Because he did not beat me fair and square. He racked me right at the finish, and I'm pretty sure he was foot to the floor when he racked me. And this time, the Honda is not even close. So it looks like it'll be the Clio that takes second place this time around. Third time's the charm, baby! For only 37 points. I'm so glad the Clio beat the Honda that time. Because I was not wanting that Honda to finish in second. Especially because of how that previous attempt ended before I won the race. I still get more money, but I am far from happy with the way that previous attempt ended. And I definitely feel like, oh, fuck me. I should have saved that replay. Luckily I can. I don't know why I backed out of it. If I wind up being in another battle with the Honda at Fuji, then that's when I'm pretty sure I'll need more upgrades in order to beat him. Because it's pretty clear to me that the Honda NSX at some of these tracks is clearly faster than me in terms of straight line speed. And you know what? I really am starting to wonder if at the next race, if I wind up losing again, if I'm going to need more upgrades on this thing to further improve it. especially since we are technically racing on the original Fuji Speedway guys before the 2005 revamp. I have a feeling if I go up against that Honda again... Oh, he's not even present in the race this time. Honestly, that's relieving to me, because I'm pretty sure if that Honda was in this race, I would pretty much be dead in the water. I can guarantee it. And surprisingly, no wheel spin off the launch. So I think it's fair to say this race is going to be a lot easier for me. Just to win, because I know the Honda is not present. I'm also pretty sure if the Honda was present, then my odds of winning would pretty much be beached. They would pretty much be shot and beached. And because I got a nudge there, I had to step on the brakes a little harder than I normally would, but again, if I hadn't, then the oversteer would have kicked in, and that's precisely what it's doing now. But no matter, because this time, I think we'll be safe, knowing that the Honda NSX, which spun me out at the third race in New York, is not present in this race. I'm also pretty sure if that same Honda was in this race, then the results would have been catastrophic. Especially since I did lose 2 times to the Honda, and one of those basically came at my expense. And I can assure you it was definitely a bitter and agonizing loss that I know I didn't deserve. But no matter, I still get more money. And that's the only thing I really care about. Probably stepped on the brakes a bit too early there, but again, because this car just has so much oversteer, there are certain corners that you just have to tiptoe your way through in order to just, well, keep the car under control. And at this time, that's pretty much what I'm doing. Or trying to do. And it looks like it's going to be smooth sailing for me, because I think this is going to be the W for me first try. Which has only happened twice up to this point. And if the Honda, and if that blue Honda NSX is going to be present again at El Capitan, which I think it will, then that's going to be when I'll deliver payback. But only if it's the blue one, not if it's any other one. I don't hold a grudge against any of the other colours except for that blue one. Because if that blue NSX shows up again, then I will make sure to give him physical payback. Because I feel like I do at least deserve one revenge shot, if you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, easy win at Fuji Speedway over the Renault Clio and the second Toyota MR2, and almost everyone made it to the finish. And I've now been recording this for 46 minutes. But anyway, another $2,000 to me, and there's your results order. So, 5-second victory over the Renault Clio V6. Then it was the second MR2 who came home third, ahead of the ASL Garaya. Then we had the VX220 fifth, and it was the Elise who came home fifth and last. That's all good. Now we just have one race to go at El Capitan. Let's see if the same Honda shows up again, or if the NSX Type R just does me dirty in this race in general. Then I'll just give him payback anyway, because I do feel like I deserve at least one revenge shot. And he's starting up front. But luckily, however, this one is white, so, you know. So we've got pretty much Noah's Ark here from what I can see, aside from the two Toyotas. So we've got one Honda NSX, one Renault Clio, one Lotus Elise, and one Opel Speedster. Right, that's it. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I am not going to lose to that cheating bastard again. I'm gonna make sure to have my revenge this time, because he caused me to wreck before. I am really gonna drive with a vengeance now, because he's done that to me at least 2 times. Now is the time for me to go to war with this Honda, and to basically end this battle once and for all, before he does it to me again. I've had enough of being spun out. I will not be pushed over a third. I will not be turned over for the win this time. Even though he did not flinch. But I've had enough of being spun out by him twice over. If I get done over by him a third time, that's when I'm going to put on more upgrades. Because I've been recording this now for nearly an hour, and I've already had 3 losses to the Type R NSX alone. And 2 of those occasions were by him literally spinning me out on 2 occasions and just fucking killing whatever momentum I had before. I'm not about to be hard done a third time. I will not let this cheating cocksucker best me again. I will wreck him if I have to, if that's what it takes to win, because he's done it to me twice over. I will make sure he doesn't win, the same as he did to me. I do deserve at least some revenge, because of how I was so hard done to last time. And maybe that was because of my own mistakes, but I know when someone spins me out with intent, and I could feel that was completely intentional. I will not let the same thing happen again. If he closes in on me, I will shut the door on him, and force him off if I have to. But I think that little shove I gave him on the first lap, I can at least account for that as being revenge enough from my end. Unfair but warranted revenge. I felt like here's what I was wanting, because he was only going to keep doing it to me until I gave it to him back. I think that shove I gave him probably did get the point across, because I am leading this now. Even though my car is still twitchy as fuck, I am still leading this thing. In spite of all the shit that Honda NSX put me through in these 3 races. He's 3 seconds behind me, so I think it's obvious to say that I think that shove I gave him on the first lap definitely sent the message across for him to just stay out the fucking way. I think he probably knew that payback was coming. I had to at least do something to say, get out my fucking way. I am not a 3rd time pushover. And I think that's just what I did. I got the point across, and I think it's fair to say our little feud is probably over now. That's pretty much what ended it. And only 4 of us finished this time. But anyway, at least I managed to win the tussle, and this time he did stay out the way. As we're now up to 86 grand. So I'm only about, 50 grand less than from what I started with. Although I did also buy myself the Mustang as well, because I just really wanted to. But either way, that's your order. Double podium again for the Toyota MR2s. The Clio finished in 4th, then we had the Lotus in 5th, and it was the Opel Speedster who came home 6th and last. Ironically, the second 3 are literally occupied by cars that were all made in 2000. I figured I'd just get the point across there. Anyway, for winning the MR Challenge, we get the Lotus Esprit Turbo HC. Ooh. Cool. But after recording this now for pretty much an hour, we have won all the races in the MR Challenge, even though it was far from a sweep. And now we've got Grand Valley on our original circuits roster of unlocked tracks. So, how far does that put me down to? Okay, so 4 losses altogether, but still 5 wins. You know what? I'm okay with that. Even though most of those were painful losses, they were at least losses where I felt like revenge was deserved. And I do have a plan for the Mustang. Don't you worry. There is a plan that I have for that Ford Mustang. Anyway, this is the car we win. A white Lotus Esprit Turbo from 1987. The first car that we win in the second half of the beginner events. Yeah. Okay, cool. And because our next event, I think, is going to involve lightweight cars, I'm going to switch over to the Auto Bianchi for the next one, since that is the only lightweight car we have in the garage right now. But anyway, the MR Challenge is done, and next time we are doing the Lightweight K-Car Cup, coming in the next episode of GT4.